Hi everyone, welcome to your messages about how you have changed. How are you changing these days? How are you showing up differently? Let's get right into your messages, so I will go ahead and introduce the piles to choose from today. You may feel drawn to one or more piles, and that is totally fine. Just go with whatever you feel drawn to. So pile number 1 on the left hand side, we have the cat crystal, and your card is Talk Less, Feel More. Pile number 2, your crystal is the fish, and your card is Think It Through. And pile number 3, your crystal is the Stegosaurus, and your card is Cool Your Emotions. So take as much time as you need to choose your pile or piles. Whenever you're ready, head to the description to find the timestamp that will take you directly to your messages, and I will see you there. Hey pile number 1, welcome to your reading. Let's jump right into your messages. We're going to start with some oracle cards to get the energy check for how you are feeling now as you are sitting down to watch this reading. This way you can determine if these are the messages for you that are resonating and correlating to your current situation. So let's go ahead, pull from a couple different oracle decks for pile number 1 here. I have the timeline card, and the hero card, very nice. For pile number 1's energy check, let's get a card or two for how they are feeling currently. We have Trust in the Invisible, as well as Home. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this final one. We have Introspection. Look at that imagery, the matching imagery. The Victory, the Trust in the Invisible. Okay. Final deck we will pull from before getting into the tarot. For pile number 1, how they are changing these days. Wow, the Star card with blessings, inspiration, and time to shine. Look at you guys. And look at this idea of like coming out from the area of introspection, talk less, feel more, like very hermit type energy, with introspection being in home, just being in a state of trust while your timeline is stalling a bit in some areas, and in other areas where it is continuing to move. You're trusting that you are still in the right place, your process is still appropriate, all of these things with the Star. You are being guided to your time to shine. And currently, you could be gearing up for that, for your moment of, I want to say, the 6 of Wands type moment, with the hero moment, with being crowned, being victorious, being trusted as well. All of this you are gearing up for as you are home, as you are collecting your thoughts, as you're getting clear, talking with yourself more, talking less with other areas of chatter and noise that are not going to serve you in this time. Timeline. Reminding me of, I'm thinking of the 2 of Wands now, like that energy of starting to look and see what could be out there for you, but not yet going after anything yet, because there are other pieces that need to be understood or to fall into place first before next moves can be taken. So yes, that is what I'm seeing so far. I'm not getting any other messages coming out of these initial cards. Talk less, feel more, very Piscean energy of, yes, feeling a lot, being quite imaginative at times as well, like being kind of in that dream-like state. What do you find when you go into this state of the invisible, of the void? I want to say the void of introspection, of thought, of where ideas are formed. How are ideas created as well? I'm just spiraling over here because these are the questions that I feel like you are thinking about or that you could benefit from thinking about, because as I ask them, I get a little excited about learning, about higher thinking, about making connections. This could be something that is exciting to you, is pondering things, making connections, trying to connect as much as you can about what is the invisible, to make sense of it as much as you can. Okay, let's pull out some tarot for pile number 1 to get additional messages before we jump into the bulk of the reading. So we have the 7 of Cups. Where is pile number 1 coming from? So that they can identify their pile. We have the 7 of Cups. What else can we know about pile number 1's energy? We have the King of Pentacles as well as the Moon card. Yes, speaking of the Moon, speaking of Hermit, introspection, home, Pisces, the Moon card, something within that you have been working with. I wanted to say something within that has been like disintegrating. Something is falling away in this time, and perhaps you feel it. Perhaps you feel more expansive within this time with the King of Pentacles. 7 of Cups, you feel more expansive in that you feel like you may have felt stuck recently or overwhelmed recently, and I think you're coming to a spot where something feels lighter, something feels more manageable within you, and something is falling away out of a lot of moving parts. With the 7 of Cups, I see that something is falling away in this time as you are chilling, deconstructing, thinking, really getting into it with a lot of things that you think about. Again, I just feel like you guys could be one to get excited about learning, about debate, about higher knowledge, all of these kind of things. And yeah, something is going away to allow you to think about something else. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the bulk of your messages. Pile number 1, we want to find out, how is pile 1 changing? We spoke on these aspects of enjoying to learn, enjoying time spent in introspection, in isolation, to make connections, to enter into the void and enjoy it, to dare to dream, to dare to create wishes. I had this idea before of, how is a wish made? Where does it originate? What would you define as the start of a wish coming to fulfillment, coming to realization of an idea that you are attracted to, that you would like? You're feeling the origins of some wish come through. You're feeling things a lot more in general in this time, as how you have changed. With the Moon card definitely clarifying that for me and confirming that for me, is that changing within the way that you see the potential for wishes to come true. You see the potential for how to start planting a seed. It's all things from within that you are stirring up. You're changing in that you feel like you understand that you don't have to wait for things to come to you. You can create them, to become your own hero, to make nothing out of the invisible, to, yes, this is one way that you are changing. Doing all of this in kind of a hermity energy of following your own timeline, diverging from the typical pathway, being your own hero in that way. You could also be changing in a way that, like, a lot of who you are today feels very heroic to your past you. Like, the timeline, the direction, the not knowing which way to go. I feel like your past you navigated carefully and skillfully, strategically, using what they could, navigated out of the space they were in. With the way the beaver has paved out of in this situation, I'm saying this beaver is lost in the woods and he's paving his way out by chewing a path. Okay, that's my example. That's like what you do. Your unique skill set and characteristics, you're appreciating yourself in this time, being your own hero. That's how you're changing as well. You never would have thought of yourself in this way, as being your own savior, essentially. The King of Pentacles reaching certain milestones without someone else being by your side is like something that is being deconstructed for you, or has recently actively been deconstructed, an idea that you can't do things on your own. You're really stepping into a power, pile one, it looks like. You're seeing yourself as your own hero, and how is this changing the way that pile one is showing up? The love they're having for themselves, how is this changing how they show up? Wow, we have the Two of Wands that I had mentioned coming through. The origins. The Two of Swords as well. Wow, wow. Origin, not seeing, Ace of Cups, and the Page of Swords. I have to pull one more off the bottom that I'm feeling as well, and then I will continue with messages. We have the Page of Cups. Look at that. Look at this spread. Very similar feeling for all of these, all being Ace, Page, Two. Feeling like beginnings if we're thinking of numerology. Two of Wands I had mentioned as well as an idea of the navigation of timeline ahead, seeing but not yet stepping out and embarking. Two of Swords, having a choice that is unseen, having some factor that is not revealed yet with the Two of Swords that could be showing up as a delay at this time for you guys. But how you are changing, how pile one is changing with the Ace of Cups. Look at the heart space opening. It's like the translation from what you have been working with in your inner, shining through to the outside. We had some message of shining through somewhere. Maybe it was a message only within my head, but the Ace of Cups, you're shining brightly within this time. Definitely with the hero, with the laurel wreath crown, with all of these markers, which shows up very similarly on the snail card. Invisible, your crown, your heart space, essentially invisible, but to those, look at this, it says, talk less, feel more. The best parts of you are invisible. The best parts of you are invisible. And the people for you are the ones that you don't need to talk yourself up to get your point across, to show who you are. Those people can feel your energetic, they match it and they can feel it and pick up on it. This idea of talk less, feel more. When you are with the right people, when you have changed, time to shine, that's where I got it with the star card. When you change, it is felt and picked up on by the right people. You don't need to talk yourself up to get connected with these people. It's like your crown is invisible, an invisible marker of who you are, shown through your character, your essence, and really your energy, what people feel when they're tuned in and when they are picking up on it, when they're near you. The Page of Swords. Another way I see you changing, pile one, could possibly be with the kind of like leaning into what you have played with energetically but haven't concretely tried to deconstruct or learn. Again, I think there's something here about like learning. The Page of Swords is very much that energy for me, especially in this deck. Page cards in general are like beginners, are rookie energy essentially. And so in regards to the Suit of Swords, it talks about intellect. The Page of Cups would then talk about the emotional aspect of things. And so you're changing. Look at how you're changing with 2 page cards coming through. You are making this shift, and a commitment, it kind of feels like, is the change that's happening. It's something that has always been within you, but it's the commitment I see to wearing that invisible crown. The 2 of Swords, the commitment to trust without seeing, the commitment to using other, it's almost like as if you really kind of fall headfirst into like spirituality, for example, and you decide you don't need certain confirmations, earthly confirmations, to feel good, to feel like you're on the right path, and really, really leaning into what you feel. It's that major shift in anyone's journey of really trying to delve into something like having faith in something. And it really truly is faith in what you can't see. A lot here, and just out of reach, what they can't see in the Page of Cups. There's something happening up here, but not visible, cannot be accessed through that sense, through that type of experience. So you were changing, I think, really truly in your faith in a lot of ways as well, and not having to see. Here from the 7 of Cups, needing to see all the options clearly, to hear it's something attracting you this way, and that's your information. That's what you need to follow the lead. The Page of Swords, you're following trails in this time as well, of dedicating time to what you are finding yourself interested in following and in exploring more of with the Page of Swords. And this is leading you to a greater path as well, because in the past perhaps maybe you would choose the rational thing, the reasonable thing, the thing that makes most sense, the thing that people in your immediate surroundings have experience with and therefore would endorse it for you. But your pathway, your timeline is something different. And I think a major change is in accepting that for you. And also being excited about it as well, having such a unique pathway to follow, and knowing that what is asked of you is to commit to the things that it's easy for you to engage in and to become interested in. You're coming more true to yourself and your beliefs and your interests, and you're also very humble in this time. Again, with not needing to talk yourself up, to show yourself as the shining star that you are. Let's look at a few more messages for how you guys are changing. How else is pile 1 changing in this time? What else is going on with them? Look at the Queen of Swords. Wow, one of my favorite cards in tarot in general. We have the Page of Pentacles, another page card. We have the 5 of Wands, as well as, let's shuffle out one more for pile 1. And the 10 of Pentacles. How is pile number 1 changing? Queen of Swords. I think you're making like a full lap, kind of. Like you're going from, I had a message of needing to speak your desires, needing to speak how you intend to be into existence for it to be, to then moving to relying on, I trust that I am feeling good, and I trust that therefore others who are aligned similarly can understand that I am feeling good and that we are sharing similar energies. And so you go from needing to speak and defend yourself to being free, being accepted effortlessly just through being authentic. To the Queen of Swords, I see you as coming full circle and reaching a point where you have leveled up again to where you change in that you're showing up more assertive and more bold. Like inevitably, I see you heading on a path to where it might start out a bit mild at first, these changes within you, but I think they are going to become more solidified and strong within you and put you in a higher place of authority. We did have the message of victory, the crowns, all of this. The Queen of Swords feels, of course, very victorious. And my message was that I think you're coming full circle to a place where once you level up again, you're in a place where your words are of great power, where people are turning to listen to you. Or simply where you feel like now what you're being called is a very vocal time, where you're being called to put out through sound, frequency, how you feel about yourself once you level up once again. You reach a great achievement and now you speak into the universe, I want this, I am this, I am becoming this, and now it's okay to shift and be someone who is speaking this into truth for you. The Five of Wands, not worrying about coming across as contradictory to yourself or conflicting past beliefs you had withheld or drifting from that, shifting out of those, not being afraid to make these changes because that is the flow of progress and change. Look, we have the Page of Pentacles to the 10 of Pentacles, and between we have Five of Wands, we have blockages, we have limitations, we have change, we have, things coming in to shake things up. And so you're also changing in that these are not as harmful to your spirit as they would have once been. I just see you in a very much in like a authority state as you have changed and grown quite knowledgeable and really like coming full circle and now feeling actually, rather than inspired to, maybe you were quite literally called upon to speak your truth and opinion with wherever you land as you elevate. Your opinion matters greatly. It really could be this kind of like major jump from what you're called to do at the start of this reading to where you are going to land eventually. So let's actually look at, I want to get an idea of like timeline of when is this change like really, really fully becoming solidified, because it almost feels like there's like two major kind of phases or jumps within this. We have the Hermit card. We had mentioned the Hermit very heavily throughout this reading as who you were with home, introspection, with saying less, with talking less, with being perceived less. And the High Priestess, look at this. Two very much knowledge-containing cards, but some of which will only be revealed or allowed to be understood within the right timing. The Eight of Cups came through, a message of some shift, some transition, some change in circumstance or choice on your part. And the question with Hermit, High Priestess coming through, when can we expect this major change to happen? The Eight of Cups is definitely a message of this time you have spent kind of getting to know yourself. The Moon card, something dissolving away below the surface to make room for more. I see things fizzling out as you turn to the light. I see when this will happen is when you feel like no longer can you go with this empty space within you. Big change for you is being so strong in who you have been, in the Hermit, and all of these things. but also being so loving to yourself that you will bring yourself the justice you need when it's time. And in this case, you will go seek out joy to fill your emptiness when you feel that time is right, is necessary, is due with the High Priestess. Yes, you guys are changing. Wow. I mean, this is like a whole journey for you guys and how you're changing. Yes, a whole journey with the Three of Swords. A lot being deconstructed. A big purpose of this is a lot being deconstructed with how you view yourself, if there's any aspects of negativity or harm you have thought of yourself or anything like this in your past. This is all for you to really, really put that behind you, to put it below the surface, to allow it to disintegrate. Think strategically, intentionally about what can go at this time, pile 1. The Ace of Pentacles, because there's new space that is needed to grow and nurture and to plant more and more for you guys. Justice. This is your moment of justice coming through. It is your time to come full circle, really, in whatever way that you guys have felt throughout this reading. Yes. Okay, and your final tarot card, look at this. The Queen of Cups, whatever way you guys have felt, because I can tell you guys are an intuitive bunch. You are showing up as Queen of Cups, High Priestess, your moment of justice coming through, all of these major, major things happening. The Hermit emerging with his new information, new perspective, following the wisdoms of being asked to be quiet, to be introspective, to lay low, and following likewise the faith that you have of when it's time for you to step up and to reassert yourself as the Queen of Swords, as your moment of victory, of being crowned, and declare, make some kind of declaration. It is a strategic timeline for you. We had the timeline card and the star card. It's a specific path you're being called to follow, specific moves that I believe you will make and be called to make in the right timing, in the right order. All of these things, of course, it is your timeline. Yes, pile number 1, let me finish out your reading with some guidance and advice before I leave you guys. So let's pull out a couple cards from Oracle decks for your guidance. So your first card, we have Take Note. Your answers are being given to you. Quieting external voices and excessive noise will give you the chance to hear what is being offered. That is crazy to me with all this talk of like quiet, of speaking, of vocalizing things, of hearing things, coming through with the quieting external voice and excessive noise to give you the chance to hear what's being offered. It's very delicate, again, the timeline. It's a specific timeline flow that you are being called to follow. And it is quite delicate. And other things will need to be revealed along the pathway ahead before the pieces start coming together. Okay. Let's pull your final card of advice and guidance. Take note. We have the koi fish spirit with there is always enough. There's always enough. There is always something next for you guys to tune into and to listen to. You will never be left hanging. You will never be left wondering. And that is the nature of the mindset you are adopting in this time. If things come along within the journey that are challenging, 5 of Wands, 3 of Swords, the message being inherently there in all that comes into your life, because you are really truly accepting and taking into your understanding the idea of really just the patterns of life, how things move and flow. The koi fish, the way things balance each other out. You could never be left hanging because the message is within the action that happened, the destruction of what was taken away, the addition of what was given to you. That is the message. You take everything so literally in this time and follow those steps on your timeline, on your delicate pathway, pile number 1, and I have no doubt that you are being guided and you are changing how you were meant to, and you're heading where you are meant to head as well. So pile number 1, I hope you enjoyed your messages. If you did, please leave a like on the video as well as comment with your pile and how you resonated if you feel comfortable. I would love to respond to you and be open to receive you in the comment section, but also please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future readings. And with all of that being said, pile number 1, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading. Hey pile number 2, welcome to your messages about how have you changed, how are you changing, all of these things. Let's look into these energies. So we will use the first few cards that come out as an energy check, so use that to determine if this is the pile that you are resonating with, and we can identify specific ways that you have changed from there. So let's look at your first 2 cards. We have Chaos and we have Gates. Let's pull from a different deck here. For pile number 2, how have they changed? Leadership. Let's pull this final one, as well as wisdom. Yeah, like wisdom of some specific solution that helped you and others out of chaos. Your thinking together helped find a solution. This is some relevant energy for some of you guys so far, but let me pull the rest of your oracle before I get going. So for pile number 2, how have they changed? 2 cards. Ooh, we have set intentions with plant the seeds and watch them grow, as well as forgiveness, set yourself free. Some actions you are being called to do of setting yourself free as well as setting intention. The message I honestly am getting was of like freedom, of guiding yourself and possibly others as well out of a tough situation toward freedom through thinking it through intellect, through planning, through being strategic, as well as having a certain wisdom, a certain insight or knowledge that was key to this situation. The key very well could have been the act of setting intention. It's almost like the specific element that was needed to access something else, like almost like the pass code or the pass key to access the next step or the next level, was being intentional. And that's something you learned. It's almost like the encouragement of others to succeed, to push forward, to finish something through being intentional, through encouraging them to do the simple things, the simple motions that when all come together complete the action, the tough action that they are needing encouragement to get through in that moment. Like, I'm thinking of pushing through the final stretch of a long race, and you're telling the person to set an intention of keep your eye on the prize, on the gate, on the finish line, and go forth. And that is the key, to refocus, think it through with focusing, the refocusing. I'm sure you guys know there's some situation with chaos that is a distraction, and the call to think through it and to focus through it and to squint through the downpour to find the correct exit, the correct gate, the correct direction. You guys are feeling some pressure as well to lead in a situation. I'm reaching toward this card, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. Air. Wow. I mean, the need to air out the moving parts, the chaos. There's a lot happening in some situation, and the wise thing to do is to move to the empty, to the airiness, to the expanse. That is the path that the wise owl would follow, following the element of air. Yeah, interesting. So pile number 2, those are a couple initial energies to get you started here, but let's look at furthermore, how is pile 2 changing in this time? We've gotten the messages of like leadership, of really trusting intuition, with the messages of think it through and the wisdom leading to the correct path, following the air, setting intention, just overall listening to the inner voice and speaking back with intention. Forgiveness toward inner voice as well in that communication, if there has been rough communication there, the forgiveness of all of your unique aspects that perhaps you had put yourself down by. Set yourself free from those. This is part of how you're changing, but let's get further into it. For pile number 2, we have these cards. We have the King of Wands as well as the Sun. Very beautiful and vibrant together in the viewfinder as I pull those out. Wow. Forgiveness with the Unicorn, the Sun, King of Wands stepping into a power with those wise leaders and partners being with you along the way. I see a lot with the King of Wands, the lion in the back, being a message of those who are with you on the path and who are always with you with strong protection in this message. We have the bear, the lion, as well as the owl being a fierce predator. And yes, you are protected in many aspects, in many environments, in many situations by different members of your team that have different skill levels as well and different intentions as well with you. How is pile 2 changing? We have the Page of Pentacles. Speaking of setting intentions and watching them grow, the Page of Pentacles, and we have the Four of Wands. How are they changing? The freeness, coming out of the chaos into expanse, into openness, into freedom. Some message of changing because of a newfound freedom, a newfound environment. You're changing, you have changed because of new freedom. You've changed because you set yourself free through intention, through actively seeking out that pathway to better, and possibly the message of having influenced others on the way with your journey and with your story. How you have changed, pile number 2. The Four of Wands is very much a celebration, very much a marker of a big life's change. The Four of Cups next to the Four of Wands. How have you changed? I think in situations that are meant to be lighthearted, meant to be fun, when perhaps you would have been tied down by other worries of things not directly related, but maybe adjacent going on in your life that you would be focused on rather than the good that is happening in the moment with the Four of Cups next to the Four of Wands. You could change, and now those roles have switched of you. Either you have plenty to be focused on that is good and happy, or of course you have grown a lot with accepting things in neutrality, and you would not let so-called negative outcomes, situations, things coming into your life, you would not let them hold the power of being truly, truly negative, of creating chaos. You've seen how chaos grows and thrives. You've seen that before. We have that message. And so you're changing in the way that you will not let that propagate in the way that you would have let it take over, like weeds, let it take over your life and the good in your life every day. That is a major part of how you've changed. You've navigated out of that cycle, out of that negative self-talk, out of allowing things to get you down. You will simply not put power or energy into negativity at this point. How else is pile number 2 changing in this time? We have the King of Pentacles. The authority with the King of Pentacles, putting your foot down in these situations. You would not accept. Also, you would kind of put other people in their place as well. If they try to bring things down, if they try to bring the party down, you're going to advocate for the good of the whole. That is a message as well with leadership. You advocating for the good of the majority, the good of, yes, the collective, the Empress, the world. You're changing in, I think, your relationships with others as well. I think you have a lot more relationships in general. You're making a lot of more connections because of your openness, and I think you have proven to yourself that you can lead and relate to others before, and so why can't that connection elevate and become one that is actually emotionally intimate and reciprocal in that way, and empowering to each other in that way? I think your world of connections is expanding as well with the way you have changed and navigated to the bright side through the gateway out of chaos. How else is pile number 2 changing in this time? We have the 2 of Pentacles, the 10 of Pentacles, as well as Temperance. Wow. Yeah, I see you as an example of true hard work. I just see you very much as like a leader archetype, especially with the King of Wands throughout this whole reading. And this strategy, if you so choose to extend your resources, your advice, your support, your presence to areas that which you don't necessarily need to seek out, that would be a bit of a stretch for you to reach. If you would like to expand your authority, your power, your presence as you have come through this change, that is an option for you as well, is to reach greater communities with your resources. With 2 of Pentacles to the 10 of Pentacles, the Temperance card, I think that how you guys are changing, there could be a message here of paying attention to how humble you were feeling as you are an influence on greater communities as you have changed. I see that with the Temperance card is a need to make sure that you are grounded as well within this and slow down with the power that you are being granted. Yes. Can we ask for pile number 2? How is this change happening? What is this major event, it seems, that taught pile 2 how to navigate to a more stable way of life and thinking, and to never be caught in situations like they had before? What is happening that is causing this change? Wow, Judgment. A moment written in the stars for you, a moment that destined for you. What is happening for pile number 2 that they're being called to be pushed out of their old life and into their new, as the way they're changing the devil. And this was a choice. Essentially, this was an answer to the calling. This is you. What causes it is you answering the calling. I don't know if we're going to get to know what the calling is exactly that told you to navigate this way with this type of wisdom, with this type of bravery and leadership. But I'm seeing that you would answer it. The Ace of Swords, a download, something you have thought of, a solution, like a creative solution with think it through, is huge in this reading, of using your mind to navigate and to assess correct movements, assess the environment surrounding, and game plan. The situation that is causing this change is natural. It is your timeline. Again, the Judgment card. This is a moment meant to happen for you. And the moment that officially tips you into this territory, I believe, is just natural. Another source of your timeline, another place marker on your timeline. And the way you handle these situations, typically the way you think about them, is just structured as such that you will be called to the attractive decision in this situation. It really could be anything, like a big, major, obvious thing that happens, or something just casual, Four of Swords, everyday situations that kind of like accumulate to be habit for you, your responses, as well as, yeah, just like your norm. So how you're changing, pile 2. You have proven a lot to yourself. You have proven that you are fit for the role that you have been pushed toward or into. You are seen by others as well. You have changed so much within this time as you've become above and beyond an example for other people. And you're also so much more in enjoyment of your life and your everyday because of the path, feeling a lot freed up, because you feel so much more in control. And your collective, your group, your people is expanding a lot in this time as well. With Empress card, we saw that message. I just see you, if you weren't sure of yourself before, or sure of how capable you were of being a certain archetype, because the whole thing of an archetype being the leader, King of Pentacles, King of Wands type for you has been strong in this. If you don't feel like you kind of just are like a floater between, like you would never have a personality so strongly meant for one archetype. If you felt that way, that is simply not true. Look at the way your essence is meant to be placed. Twice here we have your essence showing up. It is perfectly fit for what you are pushed toward. This is a huge change for you guys, and you will never doubt why you find yourself in the situations you do ever again. The Chariot, the Divine Chariot leads you on your life path where you are beyond capable of being placed and thriving, and where you're meant to be placed and thrive and lead and be an example and grow and continue along this beautiful cycle of life. Pile number 2, let's reveal your guidance for this situation. We have a couple different oracle cards we will pull from a few different decks, so let's get the advice for pile number 2. How to navigate this change within them. Oh gosh. Trust the great mystery with the whale spirit. Indeed, it is a great mystery. Like, I find myself in this reading feeling like what I'm saying is a bit more general, and feeling good and accepting of that, because it just feels like you guys are picking up the messages if they're meant for you. The whole message has been you're going to find yourself where you need to be. So I have been practicing that as I read to you today, leaving things where they stood and not feeling the need to expand upon them so greatly because I know that the messages are as they should be to be received, as is the nature of what your life and the things that come toward you is seemingly appearing to be with these messages. So here is your final guidance. We have safe and surrounded by love. How beautiful. We have keep your heart open and know you are being protected. Protected with the lion, the bear, the owl. Listen to what you know to be true and allow yourself to see and understand what is going on around you. That is exactly it. That is exactly it, is keeping your heart open, knowing you're protected, accepting the timeline that you have been placed on. Yes, you know that what's true is true, what came to you is meant to, and so you understand that you are allowed to be there, you're allowed to experience it, and you're allowed to exist amongst it and change it as well, manipulate it. You're safe the whole time. You can release control, you can trust, you can relax, you can do all of these things, and you can feel loved and feel clarity. I think is huge here too. I think this reading could be a huge moment of clarity for you guys. So pile number 2, I hope you enjoyed your messages. If you did, please leave a like on the video as well as comment with any details about what you resonated with. I would love to hear that if you feel comfortable. Otherwise, also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future readings. I would be so happy if you join the family. But with all of that being said, pile 2, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading. Okay, pile 3, welcome to your reading on how you have changed or how you are currently changing. Let's look at the energy check, which will be a couple oracle cards to get the energies of how you're feeling now. Very situational things coming up with this part so that you can understand if this is your pile. If you're not resonating with these first messages, I would recommend checking out a different pile within this reading or a different video on my page to answer your questions. But your first card for how you are changing, how you have changed, we have balance. And the card you chose that brought you to the pile was cool your emotions. Okay. Ooh, that one flew out. We have innocence for you guys, pile 3. As well as pile 3, how have they changed? Oh, here's happy endings. We have end of a chapter. Wow, I mean, this really felt like, I'm gonna pull this one as well. Wow, look at that. Listen, silence your mind and pay attention. I really felt like when the balance card came out, as well as innocence, of course, like this is something big. Balance next to cool your emotions, some big change, opposite to a way like your nature had always been, the way you had always showed up or reacted to situations, is balancing out, changing, or even becoming like the direct polar opposite, kind of is what I'm thinking of. So if there's an aspect of you that you had been like known for, this is very literal to like a change within you that you are showing up as. We have the message of innocence, card number 0, thinking of the Fool card in tarot, which is the start of the story, the sequence, the progression. It is a new chapter, a new page unfolding. With the end of a chapter, your message, happy endings, end of a chapter. You're heading into a new chapter which will have a happy ending, which will have a happy outcome. I'm just getting a lot of, like, in this reading specifically, I'm seeing the imagery of the sun with the casting on the water, as well as this shape here and the shape of the flowers. It's all, I'm seeing it like all together. They're all kind of fitting together as I'm doing your reading. So I'll try to really kind of, that's just confirmation that really this is all one big thing, one big movement or balancing out that is happening for you, that of course is a big change and leading you on a new happy path. Silence, listen to your mind, and pay attention. I read those backwards. Rather than silence your mind, I have listened to your mind. So essentially the same thing, but it really could be the biggest difference would be asking you to let your mind run free and run wild, because you are at the start of a new chapter. Look at the sunflowers representing a happy moment as well, showing up on the Sun card in tarot, and that feels like the happy ending card in the deck. So listen to your mind is how I am interpreting this, and that message is listen for what you would like to intend to happen as well in this time, because it is the beginning. It is a new page for you to start writing a new chapter. And so listen to what you're called to and what you would like to pursue, achieve, accomplish within this new chapter. Set that intention now and put that into balance. Your card, you are safe. The universe has your back. How perfect, how beautiful. Balance out. Everything is balancing within this time, and this is a supported and safe journey for you guys. Cool your emotions. I'm wondering how significant that is, if it is literal to this change that I'm seeing happen, is going from someone a little bit more hot-headed, a little more touchy with certain things, to having that perception be quite different in this new space as you were more balanced out. And perhaps that emotional aspect came from not seeing an ending, and now you are coming out of that. Something is finally closing out for you, that so much is off your shoulders now, and you're able to go through on this new chapter genuinely feeling safe and supported, because you have the physical surroundings, resources, environment that is reflective of that. It could have been in the past you were always told you're safe, you're supported, you're guided, you're on your specific journey, but your physical wasn't showing up in that way to where you felt at all stable. I think you were coming from a lot of chaos, and I think pile 2, the message was heavy on coming out of chaos. If you felt any need to check out those messages, I will recommend that now. But pile 3, yes, for some of you, pile 3, you're coming from a space where it's harder to connect what you're being told about your stability, safety, comfortability with what was actually happening for you in your physical. Yes, so let's go ahead and pull out some tarot to expand your messages for how you're changing, the specifics behind what is encouraging this change and shift within you, this new beginning. Can we ask for pile 3, what is happening with this new start? We have the Ace of Pentacles, a new idea for financial gain, a new idea in that sense as a happy ending, opportunity more in alignment with the feelings you wish to remain stable in. The Queen of Wands. The Strength card, yes, the strength to the opportunity. Part of how you're changing is being presented with the opportunity to insert excess energy into something productive or something abundant, something plugging that into a source where it is going to output into something physical that you have created that is a representation of you. At the end of the day, I'm seeing a very generally like a fiery energy within you, of course, with Aries being the card you chose, and fire signs being represented with the Queen of Wands tarot card. And so this is an opportunity. You're changing because you have a way to expend your energy, your creativity, your ideas. The Strength card. You're also having the courage and the support as well to do that. We spoke of having support but not quite seeing it. This is like I see like like someone like an undercover like guardian angel coming through as like a partner on a project, on something, someone coming through that you would feel like is divinely supported to come help you and directly answer your questions in like an eerie way of like, how did you know that this is what I needed? That is something specific for some of you guys, of your change being supported by someone who feels just very, very perfect in the timing that they were introduced to you and what they're able to bring to the table in that current phase of your life. So pile 3, how they are changing. Wow, we have the Ace of Cups. We have the 2 of Swords, as well as the Wheel of Fortune. Look at this, new opportunities, unseen opportunities. The message I was getting just now of changing in a way that how you view what comes towards you is different. The message of you are safe, the universe has your back. You're changing in your appreciation as well for what comes your way, no matter the nature of it. If it is something more stagnant, if it is something that feels like a setback, a blockage, a boundary, a limitation, I think you are seeing things as well with less intensity, with less taking it personally toward you. Just the aspect of Aries needing to cool the emotions, not letting things get out of hand or taking things too personally. I think you are changing in this way of, yes, you're less of, I just want to say, like, you're less of a, not as easily bothered by negative things that come into your life and situations. What exactly is helping pile number 3 step into this change? The King of Wands. I feel like almost finding, there is something here about finding a creative outlet with the Queen of Wands. Now let me not lose my thought with the King of Wands. Finding a creative outlet, the King of Wands, is making me think of, it's not that you are getting rid of that passionate, fiery side of you. It's just that it is being given an outlet to be processed through, so that other situations that would have summoned it to come through in a negative way, of coming through in the form of frustration, anger, yes, now it has something else to go into. It's not that we said, how is this change happening? It's a shift of where your energy is being put. Silence your mind and pay attention. Yes, it's a shift of where it is allowed to go, of the opportunity, creative outlet for your fiery side, your passionate, bold, driven, persistent side of you. Yeah, it's still there. The essence of you is still there. It just is healthier, supported by your surrounding situations, and thriving in what bounces off of how you expend that energy. What bounces back off of that is what allows it to thrive. What made it negative in your past is that it was put out toward negative things, and negativity bounced right back toward it and fed into it. Its environment, what it is like going back and forth with and interacting with, is better for it, is more harmonious, nice, good, like basic words to describe basic thing for you. Something good. It's being matched up with goodness this time around. Okay. Pile 3. What else can we know about how you are changing? Is there anything else pile 3 should know? for the changes that are coming for them. The Magician. Wow. The Magician is creation, manipulation, modification. All of these things is what the core of this message has been. How else does this tie in for pile number 3? What other messages can they get about how they are changing? From the Magician making itself known, we have the King of Cups. You're coming into a more emotionally open space as well, because again, you have seen the goodness that comes from your emotions being channeled into something good, and so you're also changing in that you're more open to your heart space side with the Ace of Cups. You're less afraid of letting that be known and visible too in this time. The Six of Pentacles, messages of generosity, of sharing. The Nine of Swords. You're changing in this time with, yeah, I feel like you're just a lot more open with others as well, and the energy is reciprocal in a lot of ways. I just feel like, I mean, emotions so intense like this have been at the core of the entire message. Pile 3, you guys must be something else, is really what I'm seeing. The Knight of Pentacles. How pile 3 is changing with the Knight of Pentacles. I think you're just taking slow and steady, comfortable steps within this time as well to get accustomed to it. And the message to slow down and enjoy it. Pay attention. Okay, so initially I had read this wrong, but I see silence your mind and pay attention. Enjoy the space around you that you find yourself in. Enjoy the company you find yourself in. Enjoy the journey on this lush green grass. Like, enjoy every part of it. The Nine of Swords. Being forgiving to yourself as well for how past situations had gone down, because the King of Cups sees things clearly. And so do not allow that version of you to look down on the past version of you and what you had done, how you had reacted in situations, all of those things. Is there anything else that pile number 3 should know about how they are changing before we get our guidance and advice? Okay, we have the 8 of Wands. And I think you are changing quickly with all of these realizations, with whatever situations are coming forth to you to be examples of how you can be different, how you can react different, and therefore how the outcome is different. This piece of the pie, piece of the puzzle has yet to be filled in. You have arrived to the spot where I think you were just about to receive something that is matching the energy of the goodness that you have shifted to. This piece of the puzzle has yet to come in and see what is going to match that energy for you guys, pile 3, from all the work you have put in and the way you handled this time around differently. Okay, let's go ahead and get your last few messages with the guidance and advice from Oracle deck for pile 3. Can we get the first message for them? What they need to know about the changes happening for them. Wow, we have the Swan Spirit. Time for a deep dive. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of like looking back on. Like, it could be easy to have too harsh of a judgment toward yourself. As you look back, do a deep dive on how things have gone down, how they're going down differently now. Just, again, with the forgiveness, not getting too hard on yourself for what you discover as the deep dive approaches naturally. And we also have change direction with ease. This is a time for change, shape-shifting, or your soul's evolution. It is a time to reconsider what you are wanting. You may be in for a surprise. Yeah, the surprise, the last section of the 8 of Wands, I believe, is a surprise. You have yet to see how things that follow once you've changed direction, you have yet to see the trail of what follows with that, and that is so exciting. Pile number 3, you guys have a surprise in store because of this shift. And the message of the surprise is going to be another deep dive, another journey, a whole journey within itself with the message of the Swan Spirit. I have 2 more cards in my hand. This is a lot to pull, but I'm going to reveal them. We have Persistent Drive. See what you desire and move toward that goal. It is time to zero in on your purpose. Use your intuition and instincts to guide you for the optimal outcome. Your final message, clear the excess. You are entering a transitional phase and would benefit from clearing away excess clutter, whether it is in your physical body or your physical space. Pile 2 had a huge message of clearing things out and making room for new, so please check that out once again if you felt called at all during today's reading. Your message change with ease. You have yet to see what is going to follow in the trail of when you follow with that persistent drive, when you're moving toward that new outcome. You have yet to see what is going to zero in with that and come along with it. So that keep going until you see the change. Could also be guidance for you to clear out the labels you had set for yourself as well, and to get used to being perceived differently. But pile number 3, these are your messages for how you are changing these days. If you enjoyed your messages, please leave a like on the video as well as comment with any details about your pile if you feel comfortable. Otherwise, I would love a subscription from you if you would love to do that as well. Join the family. With all of that being said, pile 3, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in your next reading.